Hey now, and welcome to the City Off Campus podcast with your two favorite hosts, Sammy Sommerfeld and Jack McFarland. Before we hop into the best time of the year, in my opinion, March Madness and our bracket predictions, I just want to talk about Good Pods. Guys, hop on Good Pods. It's literally one of my favorite apps. I'm on there all the time. I get tons of podcast recs from tons of people, and not just that, I get so many recommended podcasts. They just did a recent update on Good Pods where you have tons of recommendations. They recommend tons of podcasts. They have lists, they have groups, whether it's sports, history, travel, you name it, dating. If you want to know more about somebody's dating experience or need dating help, if you're in that type of situation or are having relationship issues, you can hear some podcasts give you advice. And if you want to hear any podcast you already love and just want to use the platform because it's a great listening platform like Barstool Pods or anything like that, you can find them all on there. But obviously, you can listen to your favorite podcast of all time, the City Off Campus, on there as well. You can find me on there at Sammy Sommerfeld and Jack at Jack McFarland. Send me Rex. I love that stuff. And Good Pods is going to be coming out with some cool messaging updates soon. So hopefully you guys can DM us on there. So Jack, it's the best time of the year. As much as I love college football playoff and bowl season, March Madness hits different. It just does. Like, there's nothing better than March Madness. So please tell our audience, who is your Cinderella team as of now?
So they're not usually a Cinderella. Screw them. I'm not going to use them. It's Winthrop. Winthrop's beating Villanova round one. You heard it here first. And the other one I have, just because they are ranked so low, I have Georgetown beating Colorado. I think Colorado is a big bunch of losers, and I think they're a bunch of phonies. And I also have the Big Ten beating down on Clemson. I have Rutgers beating them. So I have quite a few upsets. But if you don't pick upsets in your bracket obviously will not be perfect. So you have to kind of think outside the box.
So I will call you out here. There's a difference between an upset and a Cinderella team. Cinderella teams are the people where it's like there's no chance they're winning. So I will say my one pick for a Cinderella team is Cleveland State beating Houston. I don't think Houston's very good in my opinion. Like, I know they're a 2 seed and stuff, but you just even look at some of their stats. Like, they only beat one top 25 team all year. Like, they're third in BPI, which I get. But, like, they're averaging 77.6 points a game, and their defense has been good. They've only allowed 57.9, but Cleveland State's looked good to me, even though they've lost against Ohio. They lost to Ohio State by 6, which is one of the biggest things for me earlier in the year. Is they almost beat a Big Ten basketball team. They gave them a run for their money, and I've watched Cleveland State quite a bit this year. And Drew Joyce Jr. is an assistant coach. Bringing that LeBron magic to a team, that St. Vincent St. Mary's, and they have the same colorway. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if one person was going to make a dope run, I mean, if Drew Joyce was on that team, I mean, it would be great. So I have Houston losing to Cleveland State. But now, if you want, we can kind of go through our brackets a little bit and talk about the matchups. So first, let's start off in the East with Michigan, and then the two, first four teams who they're not even worth bringing up because, in my opinion, Michigan's winning that. How about you?
Yeah, I had a buddy text me about that game, and I said I really don't care, but Michigan State should win. I mean, both teams
Michigan
suck.
State.
Oh, are you talking about? Oh, I thought you were talking about the play-in game. I thought you were talking about the play-in Michigan State UCLA game.
Do you want to talk play-in?
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm starting at the bottom. I'm starting at the East first because I was down there.
Well, yeah, Michigan State's in the East, and I was like, I don't know why we're talking about them. But, yeah, Michigan's going to roll. LSU, I mean, people were like, hey, are the Bonnies going to be something out of St. Bonaventure? I have no clue. Like, it's a cool story. They have a cool name. I don't care.
I think LSU's taking it there.
Yeah, I seriously couldn't care about the Bonnies. Georgetown, it's a name.
Yep.
Like, who would ever pick Colorado to beat Georgetown in the tournament? You're nuts. Florida State, UNC Greensboro.
Florida State all day.
There's no upset there, guys. Don't worry about it. BYU is one of my sleeper teams.
Me too.
I have them winning, so we'll talk about them later.
I have them playing Texas.
Yep, Texas as well. And then Uconn beating Maryland. No, Maryland is absolute dog water.
I think Maryland's going to win this one. Because here's the thing with Maryland, and this is one thing I've been saying, and I've been advocating for the Big Ten here, and this might be a little Big Ten bias, but think about the competition Maryland's had to play all season, where some of their games that they lost were closer games, and they were against Big Ten talent. Now they're playing Uconn, who's literally, what conference are they in again? They're in the American whatever conference. Yeah, come on. Like, who are they playing? USF? Like, come on. Like, they're playing USF. Like, how could Maryland not beat a team? Like, I just don't see how competition-wise you can even consider Uconn. Like, Uconn was great. Kemba Walker. Shooting the shot against Pitt, still one of my all-time favorite plays in a championship game of all time. But I'm going with Maryland here. They faced way tougher competition. And Uconn, too, is 0-4 against top 25 teams. At least Maryland beat 4.
History doesn't lie. UConn's an absolute wagon in the tournament. They're going to roll on. Their stay in the tournament is going to be very short-lived. They're going to get absolutely steamrolled by Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama as well is one of my teams. What can I say? Thanks, NCAA. This is your fault because of the Wi-Fi. Do I have to start at BYU beating up? Do I have to start with BYU beating the frauds from Texas again?
I lost you after Alabama.
Perfect. So. BYU beats the frauds from Texas. Georgetown loses to Florida State, and then Michigan will beat LSU, and then Michigan will beat Florida State. Alabama will beat BYU, and then Bama will beat Michigan, and Alabama will make the Final Four.
You have Bama in the Final Four? I have Texas in the Final Four.
No.
I think Texas is going.
Nope. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think Texas is a whole bunch of phonies. They're going to be beat by the Mormons out of Utah, round of 32. Texas is going to go home, and they're going to eat some good country cooking. Nobody really will talk about them and their basketball team until next year.
Let's move over to the Midwest. Illinois beating Drexel for sure. I have
I don't know. I think that'll be a close one.
You think Illinois is going to get knocked out in the first round? Is that your hot take?
I just don't think we can overlook Drexel. They had a really close game, under 10 points against Pitt. You never know. 1 versus 16s.
I mean, Pitt is so good. Pitt basketball. I mean, Jeff Capel is just unreal. Great.
No, they are. I agree. Loyola Chicago obviously is going to beat Georgia Tech by 30. Tennessee doesn't matter. Oklahoma State doesn't matter. San Diego.
Liberty though, like the university itself is a very strong institution. I mean, they hold themselves to the utmost. Like,
I don't even know where Liberty is. I don't even know where it is. If I don't know where the school is, I'm not gonna pick them.
Do you not remember the Liberty scandal?
I know, and I just don't care about. I don't even know where it is. I don't even know where it is. It's not on my radar.
I have San Diego State beating Syracuse.
Yep, and then West Virginia beating. Where's Morehead State? See, I don't even know where they are. I wouldn't pick them. Yeah, I don't know where they are.
I know, and they're only putting up 68 points per game compared to West Virginia, where they're putting up 77. But this game made me question myself a little bit because West Virginia is giving up about 72 points per game. So that was my one thing is like, could this team playing West Virginia absolutely light them up?
I don't know. They kept it close with Ohio State. They lost by 33. So I think Morehead State might have an outside boxer's chance. They might have a boxer's chance against West Virginia. Rutgers definitely has a boxer's chance against Clemson. They'll beat them. And then Houston, I know you said it. I think Houston rolls. I think Houston's a sleeper until they face
Rutgers is going to beat them if they play against each other.
I don't know. I think Rutgers is a whole bunch of bruisers that can't shoot or do anything but just play hard basketball. And
I think that's what you need against Houston. Because think about Houston, they're averaging 70 points per game and they're giving up 68. So you really don't have to, oh wait, no, my bad. Rutgers is giving up 68. No, but Houston's giving up 77 points per game.
No, that's how many they're scoring. They're letting up.
Oh wait, yes.
58.
Oh, I'm jumping all around, dude.
Fucked up right now, Sam. It's not even St. Patty's Day anymore.
I know. I didn't even go out for St. Patty's Day, and I'm feeling the repercussions.
So one game that'll definitely have the same repercussions as St. Patty's Day in Illinois will be the Illinois versus Loyola game. That's the battle for the state. That, a lot of people, I don't know if this type of game has ever happened, but if this was Loyola from 3 years ago, I don't know, man. When I'm saying this is this year's Illinois versus 3 years ago Loyola,
that would have been a battle.
That would have been one for the ages. And that Loyola team lost to Michigan, right? The one with Mo Wagner.
Yeah. And those guards on that Loyola team.
Oof. Yeah, that was a good team. Oh, and Loyola had that they had Clayton Custer, the Iowa State transfer. He never played at Iowa State and he left. Oh God, look at Iowa State. Just
I love that Steve. I love that Steve got fired. Love to see it.
Oh yeah. Well, Iowa State's just bad program, but I digress. Tennessee, Oklahoma State.
Oh, I just want to capture that for a moment. Did you just say Iowa State's a bad program? Oh, Jack froze on us again, guys. Jack, you froze off.
I believe that when I would think Steve Prohm is the reason Iowa State's bad, and I'm glad he's gone. The program is way worse. Yeah, Steve Prohm made that.
Now you're defending terrible. Iowa State. I thought you were finally going to say something as a true Iowa fan, and then you messed it all up.
No, Steve
Jack's
Prohm,
not a real Iowa
he
fan,
drove him into the ground terribly.
You sound like Pitt fans when they talk about their previous coach before Capel. They just make excuses. It's just excuses. Iowa State's just a shitty program now. Just realize it and move on from it.
So a good program, San Diego State is going to upset
West Virginia for sure. I think West Virginia is going to beat Rutgers. That's what I have because I think Rutgers is going to make that.
That'll give us our Elite Eight. We got Illinois, Oklahoma State, and I think that's the game a lot of people are caring about.
Yeah, for sure. I think Illinois is winning that game now. I just think Cade Cunningham's going to be doing too much.
I agree. I got one buddy that likes to talk like Oklahoma State's going to be a problem. And outside of Cade Cunningham, I couldn't name a player on the team, but I've also never watched a game. So,
and you know what you should tell that buddy? Tell him to stop looking at the NBA draft predictions and look at the number one player on the board and say that team's going to win the national championship because clearly he doesn't watch basketball.
Yeah, obviously. The kid doesn't watch anything. So Houston, San Diego State, I shouldn't even ask you. You probably think Houston's going to lose.
Yeah, so, I have San Diego State against Illinois.
Am I wrong?
I have San Diego State against Illinois.
Okay, so I have Houston winning. And then Illinois is going to beat Houston because Illinois is just an absolute wagon. And they're in the finals. And are we going west or south next?
Let's go south.
Let's save Iowa for last. Let's go south.
Yeah, south. So Baylor versus who are they playing? I don't even know. Oh, Hartford. I think Baylor's a fake 1 seed. That's just been my opinion all year. I think they should have rebooked their game against Gonzaga and really had a true battle for the 1-2 seed and shown that they could keep up with the Gonzaga. Because right now, Gonzaga's toughest game all year has been Iowa. Iowa held them, they lost by 12 points, which is the, closest margin Gonzaga's had all year. So I have Baylor winning this one, but I don't have them going very far. So we can just move down and then we'll go to that. But UNC versus Wisco. I have Wisco here. I think UNC shouldn't even be an 8th seed. I think they should be 10 to 12 range. Villanova versus Winthrop. I have Winthrop. And you do too, right? And then Purdue versus UNT. UNT, there's an Iowa connection there, but I'm going with Purdue. And then Texas Tech versus Utah State. I got Texas Tech. How about you? Yeah, yep. Okay. And then Arkansas versus Colgate. I got Arkansas. They have awful defense, but they're averaging 82 points per game. So I'm kind of rolling with that. And I think that could be Colgate pretty easily if they're on that game. Then I have Virginia Tech beating Florida State. Florida. I have Virginia Tech beating UF. How about you?
Nope. I got Florida. I think
Classic.
Virginia Tech, I don't know, man. I just think they're a bad team.
So part of me wants to not roll with them because Cordell's on the team, but I think they beat Virginia by 14 and they lost to UNC by 8. I mean, here's my thing with Florida. They lost to Florida State by 12. They barely beat LSU. They lost to Missouri. They lost to Arkansas by 11. They lost to Alabama by 15. I just don't think they can contend against
Yeah, you're gonna be sad. You're gonna be sadly mistaken. Sadly.
I think Virginia Tech has a decent defense. That's what I think is going to be able to stop you out.
That's all they have. They don't have anything.
I think that's all they
need.
I think that's all they need against UF. I really do.
All right. So then Virginia Tech, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win?
Ohio State.
Okay. So what was the point of even picking Virginia Tech? They stink.
At
least pick them. They're gonna win. Oh no, Sam.
I think they're gonna win. I'm not doing it.
You and I both know.
I think Virginia Tech's gonna win. I've been saying that for a while. And Jack froze, everyone. So you got to hear me speak for another minute. So
they're score more than 55. They're not going to score more than 55 points. Guarantee it.
I'll place a bet on that.
55 points.
50 that they're not going to score over. So I'm taking the over. You're taking the under.
Yep.
Okay.
55 points.
You want to place 10 on that?
No, I don't believe in it that much. I'll put like $2, but
okay.
I think it
okay, let's
happen.
do 2. Let's do 2 on that. I think Virginia Tech is going to be able to score at least 56 points.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, so then we have Arkansas versus Texas Tech. I got Texas Tech. I think they're just too good. Even though they struggle against top 25 teams, I think overall their just offense is so electric that it's going to blow past Arkansas. Then we got Purdue versus Winthrop. I'm taking Purdue here. I mean, I think Purdue could have even been a 2 or 3 seed just with how good they were by the middle end of the season. And because they're Purdue. But do you have that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Then Wisco versus Baylor. I have Wisco winning this game.
That's crazy. That's just ridiculous.
I don't think Baylor's that good. I think they're overrated.
That's just ridiculous.
I think they're completely overrated.
Yes,
they beat Illinois. Yes, they beat Illinois. Yes, they beat Kansas once, and they beat Oklahoma State twice. But I don't believe in Wisconsin that much. Like, I don't think Wisconsin's like an elite, like, a Bo Ryan team. But I just don't think Baylor's that good.
I think Baylor's better. I agree.
I think if there was to be an upset in the early rounds, I think Wisconsin could knock Baylor off. Because I feel like one of the 1 seeds are going to fall off early, and I think it's going to be Baylor.
I sure hope. So then you have Wisco against Purdue,
Wisco.
which
Actually, no, wait.
0.1% of the population has that game.
That's what March Madness is all about.
And then Ohio State, Texas Tech. I have Ohio State.
Me too. I have Ohio State versus Purdue. I'm taking Ohio State to the Final Four.
Okay, I have Baylor going to the Final Four.
That's ridiculous.
I disagree. I think Baylor and Illinois are due for a rematch in the Final Four.
So you're going off storyline.
And I think Illinois beats them. Dude, I think this is Illinois' year, man. I just think they have too much momentum.
I think they're for sure going to the finals. I'm not going to divulge anything else yet.
So then I have
West.
I have Gonzaga, Bama.
Yep.
Oh my God.
What?
Well,
Gonzaga, Bama.
That's my Final Four. I have Gonzaga in the Final Four.
Yep.
Spoiler alert. I have.
Okay. Well, we're backtracking. So Gonzaga first game. We both have Gonzaga. I have Gonzaga versus Mizzou. I have Mizzou beating OU.
Yep.
Okay. So Gonzaga wins that. Then
I don't have any upsets in the West. I'm gonna be honest.
Creighton. Well, I have Ohio beating UVA.
I think that's such a popular pick because UVA is just such a bland team and they're like so bland from COVID. But I think UVA wins that, and then I think they lose to Creighton.
That's fair. I mean, Ohio. Almost beat Illinois. Remember?
That's
Like,
fine. That's fine. That was Illinois when
so
Iowa had a bad game. Iowa's
okay,
priming right now.
okay. Well, I have USC winning, then I have KU winning. I have USC over KU. I love the
Yep.
Mobleys and my guy Andy Anfield from FGCU, best Cinderella team of all time. But that's another story. I have VCU beating Oregon. I'm not loving Oregon this year. I just think they're blah. Like, I just don't think they're anything special. And VCU has the history of upsetting teams. It's kind of in their culture. So I
Breaking
think,
news: my buddy just texted me. I picked Iowa to win the Natty.
wow.
Bold.
And
Don't know how I
then,
feel about that one.
well, wait till you hear my fact. I have Iowa beating Grand Canyon, even though, like I said on the pod with Pat, like I really think people shouldn't be underestimating Grand Canyon just because I think they are a well-coached team. I don't think they're going to win by any means, but I think they will give Iowa at some point in the game a little bit of a challenge defensively.
Like, no, we're going to beat them by 25 at least.
I think we will too. I think we'll reach that point, but I think even in the first quarter, in the end of the first half or something, there's going to be a time where it gets a little close where it's going to be 5-10 points.
Yeah, it'll be like 2-0.
And then I have Iowa beating VCU. I have USC beating KU. I have Creighton beating Ohio, and I have Gonzaga beating Mizzou. Then I have Gonzaga beating Creighton. I have Iowa beating USC. Then I'm doing this because I brought this up to Jack before the pod. I would feel this. Normally, I never let my teams judge my picks, but this is just too special of a year. I'm rolling with Iowa versus Gonzaga. It's a hopeful pick. It's a very hopeful pick, but I'm hoping that our team just stays hot and we're on a roll. I mean, we have a BPI ranking of 5. I mean, we've had some good games. We obviously didn't play that great against Illinois in the Big Ten semifinals, but that's okay. We'll bank that game and pretend that we never watched it. But I think, I think we could pull it off. I think especially a rematch against Gonzaga would make the boys real hungry. And then my Final Four is Iowa, Texas, Illinois, Ohio State. What's yours? I forgot.
Fucking Gonzaga, Bama, Baylor, Illinois.
Okay, so Jack's what we like to call, he picks 3 1 seeds, and then he tries to go crazy with a 2.
Yeah, well, here, I forgot that we didn't remember that the best teams in basketball have been the best teams in basketball since the jump this year. So I don't think anything's going to sway.
But how long can you sustain that success? And could the pressure of being on the big stage get to them?
I mean, I look at the only team that Baylor could realistically lose to is Ohio State. And I think Ohio State's flawed at best.
I think Ohio State's flawed, but I think if they don't have to play Baylor, I think they could win it.
But I look at Illinois, man, and like they're really, I think they might have like the toughest road for their own sake. Like they have to play Loyola's Super Bowl, which will be they'll throw the kitchen sink at Illinois. Oklahoma State, where you have the best player in the nation, Cade Cunningham, like going to the NBA best player. And then you have Houston, who has Quentin Grimes and a team that's ready to win right now. So it's like Illinois got a ton of people to beat. I think the East is a cakewalk. I think Bama could walk into the Final Four. I think whoever walks into the Final Four from the East is getting fucking smoked by whoever comes out of the West. I don't think the East is any relevance by the stretch of my imagination. I think this bracket is dominated by whoever comes out of the South, because I think the South has a couple teams that could do some really big damage, but it's either Gonzaga, Iowa. I think that's just a consensus. And then, I mean, the Illinois, like I said, the Illinois side's just rough for them to get there.
I have to admit, you're making me want to switch my pick from Texas to Alabama. I'm looking at them a little bit more, and I'm like, you know what? Like I've watched their tape, like I've watched some of their games, and like they have a squad. They really do have a squad,
bro. And their coach, I heard their coach Nate Oates, I think his name is, talk about like why they take so many threes, and like they have different point totals when they're at practice for taking different shots, and like a corner 3 is worth more than like maybe an elbow 3, or
they
like
apply analytics to it. And
bro, but they're
doing it in a competitive practice environment.
But like they're fucking shooting 32 threes a game. And that team could lose like that, but they could win just as easily.
Right.
And they're really good defensively too. So it's like, if
I know.
they
I mean,
don't,
they have the defensive player of the year from the SEC.
so like, if they don't score points, it's a guarantee they could get a stop or two. It's just, can the threes keep falling? I don't know. And when you put Alabama against a team like Gonzaga in the Final Four, in my opinion, Gonzaga doesn't need to live and die by the three, and they beat Iowa by the three. And Jalen Suggs will never shoot 80% in the game again once they play, but like, Gonzaga has what it takes to beat a school or a team like Alabama. So I think Gonzaga Illinois has been the matchup a lot of people have wanted. I really don't see like how it just doesn't happen. Like, this year's been just so stupid, and like, the best teams have stayed the best team, that it's gonna end up like that, where you got your Gonzaga, Illinois, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan, no, because Livers got hurt, Alabama, like,
you convinced me to make the switch from Alabama, which
but those
I can
teams
get swayed, but
all those teams in Ohio State as well, all those teams just like have like, this is the most, I think, wide open the field is, and they give teams like in two, but it separates the one from the two. But I think this year there is like even more this year than any year we've seen before. Like, the ones and twos are so similar to where like you said, you could see Purdue being a 2 or 3. Same, Purdue's that good. Like, I think they could be as well, but they were in a tough conference, so they pulled a 4. I think Creighton's better than a 5, but they lost early, and that's just the way it was. So Kansas is not a 3, but Kansas was that good in the Big 12. So I think this year, like, more than anything, the seeds will mislead people, but I also think the seeding is as like meshed together as it ever has been. Just because this year, like, not all the teams have played the same amount of games, and like, some teams, obviously there's been injuries, but some have, like Florida, for example, they had that guy who had the blood clot.
Well, that's what I'm saying though too.
You never.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Coming.
It's like trusting these 1 seeds and stuff to ride you there. Like, obviously, they're there for a reason, but like, at the same time too, injuries can come up. Just being flat out tired after basically most of these teams, if they did it right, have basically been locked down since the summer, once summer camps really started. Like, just being mentally exhausted. Like, they're literally locked up in quarantine basically, unless they practice or have a team activity. Like, it's a mentally draining thing. Like, there are players I've heard from different teams who chose not to even come to the, Indiana bubble because they just didn't want to be in a bubble anymore. So it's just like that too is like, I think COVID is going to be a factor in all of this, whether teams get sick or they let things get, a little bit more loose, or it's just going to be, they're so mentally drained that they're just exhausted, where even if they're in the physical conditioning they need to be, their mind just might not be in the game.
Yeah. So I hate to pivot this quickly and this abruptly from March Madness, but I have some terrible breaking news that has just come across my phone about your beloved Chicago Bears. It has just come to my attention that the Bears are releasing all-pro cornerback Kyle Fuller. That is how
they got under cap.
That is how we got under the cap. That is how. We couldn't restructure Kyle. It was either the two sides couldn't meet a common ground. It was Kyle didn't want to be paid less than 20 or less than 14, and the Bears wanted him to take like just a fucking little pay cut for this year. And it was just like, I don't know the semantics and like what happened with it, but it was just, I could tell both sides just weren't going to get it done.
Can we give Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy a round of applause here for just continuing to screw up the Chicago Bears?
I don't know. I don't know how, like,
12-4. They look at 12-4 and they're like, wow, off of a double doink, that off of one play, you know what? Instead of trying to sustain what we had and build off of that and grow, we're gonna be a little, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get Robert Quinn and pay him a ton of money. You know what? Yeah, Kyle, see you later. Yeah, Mitch, thanks for everything. Like, we're gonna get Andy Dalton, and here we go.
Yeah, hold on. Speaking of Andy Dalton, so this is what I have to say about it.
The Red Rocket.
You have roughly $12 million in free agency to dish out or save, and I think a lot of people were of the impression that free agency wouldn't do much for the Bears if it wasn't a trade. And the only trade that they should be doing is for an established quarterback or up in the draft for a guy they want. Well, they didn't do any of that. They gave starter money to Andy Dalton, who deserves starter money. That is not the problem. It's the idea of you gave Andy Dalton starter money. Today in the press conference, he said that he is the starter. That's what sold him to come to Chicago. So that means Foles is the backup. That is the quarterback room we have.
And we're paying him not like the backup.
Right. Super Bowl MVP bonus. That's what he's getting right now. But in order for the Bears to stay in this competitive window, I guess you could say Pace and Ted Phillips and all of them are saying they're still in. They believe cutting the best corner on the team after the corner they just drafted this previous year, a first-round talent guy, has chronic shoulder problems. Yep. Jalen Johnson's going to have that forever. We cut Kyle, make Jalen the number one now. That defense is not good. That defense is average now at best. And
how's he going to cover Devontae Adams twice a year?
It won't. Like, you can't. Like, it doesn't happen. People in and expect the scheme to like stop it. There's no rhyme or reason that signing Andy Dalton, bringing back Jermaine Ifedi, which I understand, just spending the money they did in the way that they did, and then sitting back and saying we're still in a competitive window. It's like, no,
it's not.
I don't think so. Like, I really don't. I think this, and there is a comparison that I saw, and I took a screenshot of it. And it's great that we're recording today because it is in such a timely manner that I saw this yesterday. People are comparing, and I love this comparison, the 2018 Bears when they had Amos, Callahan, everyone, the whole defense when they were like the defense, to the 2017 Jags that had Calais Campbell, Ngakoue, Jalen Ramsey, right?
Leonard Fournette, like Mitch.
So they went all in on number 4 Blake Bortles and expected that window to hit. And they were a game away from making it to the Super Bowl. They lost to Tom Brady, right? What did the Jags do? They fucking tore it down, cleaned house and said, fuck it, let's try again. Now look at who they have. And now look at what's going on. They have the number 1 pick. They have Trevor Lawrence. They have Urban Meyer. And they have a ton of people coming in. A ton of
cap.
And you know what that is? That's recognizing that your window is not possible. Like, it's not feasible with Blake Bortles to make it past Tom Brady. The Bears should have realized it isn't feasible for Mitch to beat Aaron Rodgers in a playoff game.
The Bears' biggest problem.
Can't do that.
The Bears' biggest problem, and I think part of this has to be on the McCaskies, which is, being the oldest franchise. They look at the football team as a football team. They don't look at it as a business. And with the Jags, for example, you look at your investments in 2017, and you have Ramsey, you have all these pieces. But you see one of your key investments, Blake Bortles, you're either going to have to pay him a ton and pay something that you don't think is going to go up in value, or you can get rid of it and start all over and find things that have higher valuable for less money, which is called running a good business. And that's what they're basically doing, is they're running their football team like a business. They're trying to get key talent in for low value. And honestly, that's the way to do it. And then get them young. And then if they don't work, you start all over again, because you can't win without, good talent, good young talent.
I think another thing to unpack on that is when you look at the differing ownerships from the Jags to the Bears, and the Jags, it's not like they became like content with like losing, but that organization really hasn't seen much success. So for them to sell the idea of like rebuilding and like rebranding and doing all of this in Jacksonville, they could easily in 2017 like shit the team and just rebuild, and they did that. Chicago, like, they can't sell that to a fan base. Like, they have to, in essence, do this soft rebuild and just drag it out, like dragging us through gravel. And
can I ask you a
question? I understand. Yeah.
Are you happy we experienced the 12-4 team and the Khalil Mack trade? Or if you could take it all back, would you rather see a bigger rebuild happen with having the first round picks?
I would have, it was really cool to wake up to Khalil Mack. But when you look in hindsight, that team was not That move was a year late and $1 short.
Yep.
Like,
I agree.
They did it in 2014 and it looked great, but then they had Amos expire, Callahan expire. They had it was just, you could tell the defense was not going to be the same from then. And that was Nagy's first year. And that offense, he cuts Howard or trades him for a bag of Skittles.
Mm-hmm.
And then they trade up to get a Anthony Miller, which was preposterous to say the least.
Shaheen.
Fucking instead of George Kittle. So there's just a ton of mismanagement of this window. And it's like, dude, we overpaid for Trey Burton.
Yeah.
A third tight end that threw a touchdown pass because he used to play quarterback in college. That's the only reason he ran that play.
Yeah.
The guy fucking sucks. And we paid him $30 million to be a pussy and not play in the playoff game. The Bears have made so many questionable decisions.
I look at the Raiders in the envy. I look at the Raiders in envy because they have so many nice young pieces. Like, even if you look at the Raiders, what?
I don't know if I look at them in envy. Their defense is fucking terrible.
Their defense is
terrible. They can't figure it out. They can't figure it out.
But guess what? Guess what, though? At least their offense is a little bit exciting compared to ours, where it's just like you don't even want to watch the offense. You just want to watch our defense. Like, with Jacobs, with Waller, with some of those pieces. And I mean, I like Max Crosby. That's a guy on their team I really like. I like Max Crosby. I think he's a fun guy to watch. And the thing with the Bears, going back to the Bears, though, is the way I would have done it now in hindsight is I would have never gotten rid of Jay. First off, I would have kept him for a year or two. No. Here's what I would have done is I would have let Jay play out.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's starting with Jay, but it's going to go further. Is I would have let Jay play his extra year in his contract, let it just come out. So we're not signing Mike Glennon and all the Chase Daniels, all the other BS pieces that we were.
The Mount Rushmore of pace quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly. And then draft a quarterback, which I wouldn't have drafted Mitch. I mean, in hindsight, we all know who we would have drafted, but that's another thing. But then I would have just let the rebuild play out after that. Because it's like once you have the young piece, why rush it? You have that quarterback for a couple of years. It's like by year 3, that's when you should have seen seen the playoff push really begin.
Who would you have rather had if you were Chicago? Would you have rather had Mahomes or Watson? I think that's an interesting question. Who would have done better in Chicago?
I would have wanted Watson for Chicago.
I agree. I don't think Mahomes
away.
Matches anything Chicago does.
No,
anything.
I agree. The one thing I will say about Mahomes though is this isn't Matt Nagy's offense, but if it was with the Fox regime with Jay in place, like if it was a Jay from Mahomes takeover, it would have been a super easy transition because they're both gunslingers. It would have been perfect.
But here's my question on that front is I don't think Jay ever had a quarterback drafted behind him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How would he have been, with a guy underneath him? I don't know if Jay would have been the most receptive or respective guy. I don't know if Jay's going to be the type to where he's just
Jay wouldn't have
Brett Favre.
Them.
Brett Favre, Brett Favre was kind of on edge when he saw Aaron Rodgers walk in. Would Jay be on edge?
I think Jay wouldn't be on edge. I think what would have happened here is the front office goes to him a year before his contract's up. Hey, Jay, we appreciate everything you've done. This basically an Alex Smith move. This is your final year. We're going to draft a quarterback to be behind you because there's a guy we really like. Because I think with Jay, if they were transparent with him, it would have been like, okay, I know my role. I'm going to go out, try to win games, ball out. Then I'm going to get paid and go somewhere else if I want to continue playing. Because remember, too, he considered retiring and being a broadcaster after that. And then Adam Gase called him up and said, hey, let's run it one more year. I need you. Tannehill got hurt. Yeah. So Jay was already kind of starting to slowly fade out. And I think teams just weren't that interested in paying a guy who was 34 years old at that point, 34, 35. So I think if they would have been transparent, said, hey, even with Mitch, let's just say if it was Mitch, move it up a year. Hey, we love Mitch. We just want to get Mitch. We're going to get him in the building. We want him to be around the guys. We have some young pieces we're bringing in. Kyle Long's still here. We have a few other guys on the line we want him to just start getting used to being in the building with. Jay would have just been nose down, I'm playing my game. And it would have, been after a year, hey, it is what it is. We didn't meet our goals, but, I'm out.
Yeah.
And it would have given the fans something to look forward to.
Well, this is also more sad news. Eddie Jackson just tweeted a minute ago, At this point, and he put a facepalm emoji. So that's not good. Diana Rossini just tweeted, the Bears tried to keep Kyle Fuller by asking him to take a very, very, in bold, significant pay cut, but he would rather test the market. If that doesn't say anything about the culture in
The
Chicago, you can kick the can down the road a lot. And if your team are down to kick the can down the road, they will, because it's money up front that they'll get. Kyle Fuller doesn't want to keep fucking doing it here. Yeah. He doesn't. And if there's any Bear to speak to like this cultural problem right now in-house, and Kyle Fuller didn't want to take that pay cut to stay on the Bears, the team that drafted him, that has made him not made him, but has helped him develop into an all-pro.
And being in a number 3 market on a team that identifies as a defensive team.
Kyle Fuller is a top 5 corner, and he has been since he's been in the league. That guy is a killer on defense. And the fact that he doesn't want to play on the defense that has always been known as being the killers, and a defense that just is going to run everything Kyle's great at. It's zone. They play over 3, and Kyle drops, and it's that. So I think Kyle, Denver or LA, he's going to go to either.
Okay.
The Chargers, or he's going to the Broncos.
I have a pick for a team for him, but I also have a take of the next player that's going to be gone from the Bears, which is I think he goes to New England. That's my take. Because
if they get rid of Gilmore, that's a great signing.
No, but it's not Gilmore they're getting rid of. It's J.C. Jackson.
No,
they
need to get rid of
him.
Gilmore's making like $24 million. That's more than Kyle, bro.
I know, but Bill loves Gilmore. I don't think he's getting rid of Gilmore. But I think if they got rid of J.C. Jackson, Kyle Fuller on a 1 year, and Chung just retired too. So
Chung was bad. He was a step slow for a while, and
but that's what I'm saying.
He can't do cocaine anymore.
Yeah. Well, they have space though at corner, because if J.C. Jackson, who's a restricted free agent technically now, gets an offer from another team that Bill doesn't want to match, he's gone. 239 product, by the way. But shout out Southwest Florida. But I could see that being in place, because if Kyle Fuller just wants to be like, I want to up my value, try to win some games with all the moves on top of what Bill's doing, I think that happens.
So
thing with LA, I don't think he goes to LA.
I think he could go to the Chargers. I think the Chargers.
Denver's an easy pick though, because Vic is there. That's such a
right.
pick.
But you want to hear the easier pick, Sam? Is Staley, the new head coach in the Chargers, was the outside linebacker coach under Vic in 20 whatever.
Oh, you're saying the Chargers. I thought you were saying the Rams.
Yes, not the Rams.
Oh, well, you have to clarify.
And not even the Rams are running the same scheme too. So if they needed a corner, Kyle would be their guy. It's the Chargers. And I think the Chargers are in definite like consideration. I just saw
that's fair. The
on
Chargers
my phone and hold on. Something's popped up on my phone. It says 49ers officially signed veteran center Alex Mack, but all I read was Mack, and I read 49ers officially, and I go, holy fuck, did the 49ers officially trade for Khalil Mack? I'm like, this is just like the teardown. No, we're fine. The Patriots have just Akeem, but
wait, the Patriots got Akeem?
No, I'm kidding. I'm talking about how much the Patriots have $27 million cap space right now.
Wow.
Let me see how much the Chargers have. I think the Chargers could honestly like swing this.
My take for the next player leaving the Bears is I think Allen Robinson 100% now doesn't sign his franchise.
Oh no, he's been out, dude. The Bears. Did you read the Bears?
Well, I think Holiday. You know what I think. What happens is we trade him basically. Yeah, I saw that, but I have a feeling the Bears trade him for like a 7th round pick or something, like something extremely low.
Oh my god,
like a 6th round pick.
They would never, Sam. Oh my god.
Did you ever think the Bears were going to release Kyle Fuller?
Yeah,
last year, start of the year. Oh yeah, you did.
Yes, I did.
You did say that.
I did, because he was making so much money. It was just like we'd kicked his can so far down the road that it really came down to Kyle like wanting the pay cut, and he just fucking didn't. And hey, fine by him. This is his first time on the open market. The last time he ever had a real chance was the Packers forced us into this contract by tendering his RFA.
Yeah.
So we had to pay this. Thank you, Green Bay. But whatever. I mean, we had Kyle Fuller for how many years? I look at the Chargers. They have $33 million cap. So maybe they could swing that if they want Kyle Fuller for like 10 mil. I think Kyle will sign for like 10 mil.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's Patrick Peterson money.
Yeah, because like Desmond King just signed for like 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah. And that's understandable that like you're maintaining value, you're getting money, and you're just playing on a team. And granted, Houston getting all these free agents and getting a guy like Desmond King speaks to how much the front office has flipped in the players' eyes. Like being able to go there and like sign with Houston.
Yeah, I was shocked they're getting all these signings.
And I think that once they trade Deshaun, this team's going to be in fantastic.
Well,
position.
is Deshaun going to be tradable?
Yes. Oh, God, yes. I think he's, dude. I said this to someone after the Bears had put out. They had leaked the offer for Wilson, excuse me. When that offer got leaked out, those 3 firsts and 2 starters, that automatically gives Houston like a precedent to work from for any offer to go from.
Yeah, but I'm saying with all the stuff coming out on him,
dude,
do you buy it or do you not buy it? You're frozen, so you're gonna have to backtrack.
I'll say this. I think I want justice to be served. Obviously, I don't know what's true or what's not. Obviously, every allegation's wrong, but I don't know what to believe. Once it's settled, I don't know how there's any reason why you keep him. Like, I don't. There's no. These bridges have been burned. There's no way that he can come back. But I do think that there has been, like, I'm not saying there is, because these are allegations, but there's been rumors that this is like completely political from Easterby and the upper top to like try to force Deshaun to just not play or leave. And if that's the case, fuck them. But
yeah,
I don't know what to say about it. They keep coming out by the day. Is this a coincidence?
Well, have you read the documents?
I haven't read any of it. No. I might have to go give it.
I'm not going to say if I believe it or don't believe it, because that's not my place to say, but it's very, until the facts come out, that's when I'd probably comment on it, because I don't want to say the people who are accusing him are wrong, because I don't know, but also too, I'm not going to say he's guilty when there's no
right. And like I remember
ruling of it.
I remember being in high school in Providence when Kaner had his allegation and Derrick Rose had one shortly after.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's and everyone was like, whoa, that's Kaner, the little hot shot, kid went out there and partied too much. Well, that was, again, it came out and that it was just fucking bullshit. But everyone had that preconceived thought that it was.
Or D Rose. The D Rose one was.
Exactly. Everyone's like, oh, it's fucking D Rose. He's a basketball player, thug from Chicago. Of course, you do that. No, but again, it's just everyone has these. They jump to assumptions and they
stereotypes.
They do. They jump to these stereotypes and assumptions and tear their ACLs in the meantime, jumping for it. Like you can't jump to these assumptions and everything. It's our process has it so people are innocent until proven guilty, and once we get the facts, we'll get the facts. But it definitely makes that situation a lot murkier.
There was only one person who committed a crime, in terms of professional athletes, where he got off, where everybody knows he's guilty, and that's OJ. OJ's guilty. And Ray Lewis.
And Ray Lewis, he killed a guy and then won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a year.
Like, like, holy shit, he killed a guy and got away with it. I think this is just us laughing because we're uncomfortable thinking of like the Hall of Famer Ray Lewis got away with
the motivational speaker who gave a motivational speech at his Hall of Fame thing. But literally, did the dance and everything. But 20 years before that, I mean, but can you imagine you kill somebody and then you win a Super Bowl? Like, I don't know what's more twisted, 2000 or 2020 in terms of a year.
Yeah, for real. God. Can't believe the Bears actually cut. Sam, I'm going to be honest. I was holding that Kyle Fuller news for like 20 minutes. I saw it right when you were starting the bracket, and I was like, this can't.
It seemed like you had something to talk about.
I did. I looked at it right away, and I said, wow, we just released Kyle Fuller. We couldn't even trade him.
Yeah. Oh, I see the Eddie Jackson tweet. And
Yeah. See, this is the beginning of the end. Like this window has been
did you
shut
see what
for
Cordell
a
Patterson
while.
said?
Oh, sweet Jesus. What?
Stop using, in quotes, cap space as an excuse.
If this MF team
And he
wants,
was
they will
released too,
get
I
you.
think.
Simple as that. Yeah. See, I'm telling. It's a fucking culture thing, dude. They're so fucking not bought in anymore. This team, man. You know, I go to bet and I'm chief optimist. I can't do it anymore with that.
Nope.
That's fucking low. That is low.
We are entering some dark days for Chicago Bears football.
Yeah.
We are going to be the meme of the NFC North because guess what? Who knows what the Lions are going to be, but I'd rather be a Lions fan right now. I hate to admit it, but I'd rather be a Lions fan.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm already a Dolphins fan. I've said it a couple times. Casual. I'm
Now
all on
that
board
Will
with
Fuller
Tua.
pickup.
Yeah, well, dude, look, if Will can sprinkle some of that and all the other receivers, I'm all for it. And they won't get caught. I mean, granted, Will had his career year and he got caught with PEDs. Just don't be so good next time, and they won't drug test you. Will, come on, you just gotta be.
Hit up Barry.
I mean,
Hit up Barry for some advice.
Tua, Brisket. Yeah.
What'd you say?
Didn't they just sign Jacoby Brisket in Miami?
Yeah.
Didn't they just sign Jacoby Brisket?
Yeah, they did.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Just gonna light it up. Absolutely light it up in South Beach.
I'm not a fan of that.
I know. Me too. I was kidding.
It's all right. The Dolphins are going.
They got Tua time though. He's literally gonna get traded like Josh Rosen did. That's I think so. I think so.
No.
I don't think they believe in him, bro.
They don't believe. No. Here's this thing that they don't believe in. Not the Dolphins, is totally off topic. Howie Roseman was asked numerous times in his press conference to commit to Jalen Hurts, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia is not looking for a quarterback. Maybe we'll give him Nick back.
Oh my God! What a storyline would that be? A first for Nick? Can you imagine it? If they're that desperate, a first. Dude. I'm saying, like, we got to get a first from him for him,
dude. Imagine if we traded Nick Foles back to the Eagles, because then imagine not if they bought in to Jalen Hurts.
What if they went on a Super Bowl tear though? Again with Nick.
Oh my God.
Would that be worse for the Bears, or would that be funnier because of Carson Wentz? Like Carson Wentz leaves, Nick Foles finally gets named the starter after 7 years removed from it.
That's a good question. Would it be worse on Bears fans for Nick Foles?
I don't think the Bears fans would care that much.
I don't know. I think some Bears fans would be a tad salty. They'd be
they would be mad at Matt Nagy and they'd be mad at Pace. That's
exactly
what would be the problem.
Exactly.
They'd be like, dude, Nick to his full.
Well, they'd be like, you expected Nick to just waltz in here and use his magic, and he didn't. And then you went. First you got Glennon to work his magic, and he didn't. And then you drafted Mitch.
6'6" Mike.
Yeah, and then you draft Mitch to work his magic. Mitchy magic, that didn't work. And then you go and get Nicky. Nicky don't work. And then you get Dalton. And I'm cautiously optimistic about it.
You know what? The thing is, I never hated Dalton when he was in Cincinnati, except for like the final 2 years. Because when the early years where he made a playoff run, I was like,
bro,
him and AJ Green, he made four.
He made four.
They lost all the games. They were like the new
team.
Bills of
bad team.
I mean, I thought Lewis was a bad coach at that point. I thought Lewis.
He's a good culture coach.
He's a good culture. He's good at building the culture, but he's not good at sustaining the.
He's a Mike Tomlin without the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, but also then again, look at who Mike Tomlin's players are, and he has Kevin Colbert as a GM drafting the players.
Oh yeah, and Mike Tomlin. Well, Mike Tomlin also his first year like just gave up play calling, and he's like, look, I'm just gonna be culture guy, and Mike Tomlin's killing the culture in Pittsburgh. I mean, he was able to have AB,
social media queen, and then he had Juju, social media queen.
Yeah, hold on. Before we close this up, where's Juju going?
Dude, I've been wondering that too. I'm like, obviously people are like some of my friends are like, he has to go to LA because like LA Juju would be so electric social media wise. Like
he's going to the Chargers, I'm telling you.
Like that's a team that we've talked about. Like him and Justin Herbert would be electric.
Yes, dude.
But
yes.
But like part of me too is like I don't like the thing is I don't see him in a small market. There's just no way in hell he goes to a small market. So
No.
I've only thought LA. I don't know 49ers cap space. I figure they have nothing, but I was like,
they have fucking nothing.
but I was like 49ers. It would be interesting to have like him and Kittle together because they'd be a social media duo. And then I thought like the Jets maybe or something.
I could see. I've been
it's
thinking
New York or LA. That was
I've been thinking
ones
of
I
like
thought.
where the Bears are going to trade A-Rob, and I think the Jets are one of the top teams in my opinion. I'm looking at teams.
Trade him for the second pick, baby.
Yeah.
They're the only team that's ever drafted a wide receiver number 1 overall. So maybe they'll do it with their second pick.
Yeah, they'll take Devontae Smith. Be like, he won the Heisman. He's going to be awesome in the
No, I'm saying they take A-Rob and we flip him for the
Oh,
second pick.
fuck. Yeah, and then the Bears will take Devontae Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
Good idea. All right, so the only teams that Juju could really go to are Indy, which I don't see that.
No.
LA, which I could. Carolina, I don't see.
I thought Carolina, but it's a small market. He doesn't want to be in.
Yeah,
a small
and
market.
they already got
LaMelo in that market. They're chilling with LaMelo as the star of the city now.
Yeah,
he took over for Cam.
Dude, I could see him going to Cleveland.
I can't. I
could, bro.
If he did that to Pittsburgh, bro, like he literally like shows he's always like, I love Pittsburgh so much. I'll love like Pittsburgh's my city, 412. Like I came to Pittsburgh on a bike. I didn't know how to drive. Like Pittsburgh embraced me. Like I literally had my bike and then I got a Tesla, all this stuff. If he goes to Cleveland, Pittsburgh fans are gonna come after him. They're gonna come after him.
Yeah.
And Juju won't be able to handle that. His brand, it'll be so bad for his brand. You would think it would be good for his brand, but Pittsburgh fans, they buy all that merch. They're not going to be buying any more merch from Juju. That's going to.
So I have even worse news now.
I feel like we're at a funeral.
Prepare yourself. The Bears have just given defensive lineman Akeem Hicks permission to seek a trade.
Oh my God!
It's over. I told you this is done.
If Hicks wants out, you know it's bad because Hicks loved being a Bear. Like Hicks was the heart and soul of the team.
I'm texting my boys group chat right now, and I go, Fuller wouldn't think the pay cut, meaning this D is done. It's done. There's nothing. There is
trade Mac. Trade Mac for one first.
As much as people call Akeem Hicks the heart and soul of that defense, like Kyle Fuller was the longest tenured Bear on that defense. And
Kyle was the worker of that defense. Like Eddie Jackson or Roquan? It was one of the two who said basically Kyle got them in the film room.
Both. They're both. I saw a quote from both of them today saying that.
So it's just like you got the guy who was basically like the Kobe of the team in terms of getting the guys to go to work. And then you have the heart of the team, just inspiring the guys on the field, keeping the team together. Dude, I don't know what Mac hates more, Gruden Oakland or Matt Nagy Bears.
Oh,
like the Bears, if you think about it, committed the biggest robbery of all time in terms of they basically robbed Mac of ever winning in his career, like in his prime.
Bro, maybe the Bears are going to sign. I don't even want to say this, bro.
Are you going to say Kevin White?
No, maybe they're going to sign Kenny Golladay and just like advertise that he's the Chicago boy from St. Rita, and we got Kenny Golladay, guys, but we gave up.
Yeah, no,
we gave up Kyle Fuller, Akeem Hicks, Allen Robinson, Mitch Trubisky to get fucking Kenny Golladay, Andy Dalton.
No, you know what they're gonna say? They're gonna say Kenny Golladay, like in the locker room. They're gonna be like, "Show us your way. Show us Lions culture. We want to bring Detroit to Chicago."
Kenny, we asked Matt Patricia to come back as a consultant. He said no because you were going to be here. So obviously there's bad blood. We better just get off the air, Sam, because there's been bad news every time. Like we've just been.
Dude, we should have worn black. This was a funeral. Like this started exciting with the March Madness stuff, but I'm gonna be honest. Like I need to watch basketball tonight to really lighten my mood.
This is fucked up, dude. Like this is the end.
Dude, I'm worried that when we get into our 30s and 40s, we're still going to be talking about the Urlacher Briggs defense.
We are.
That's the only defense that brought us happiness.
I still do.
Well, we still do now, but we were hoping this team was going to change that for us, dude. I thought we were going to have multiple teams. Like when I hear Steelers fans break down, oh, our team's this year, even though they didn't win a Super Bowl, but they at least grew up with 2 Super Bowl teams. They had 06 and 08 at least. We're literally holding on to a team that lost to Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. And Jack froze, so pause for about 5 seconds for Jack McFarland to unfreeze if we luck out in 5 seconds as we try to wrap up this podcast, guys. Oh, now Jack's back. What were you saying? Oh, Jack froze again, guys. I mean, Jack's back.
I don't know, man.
I think this is a sign. As your room's getting darker, I think this is a sign, dude, that we just got to end it today. Yeah. And we got to end it on a light note. Guys, get hyped for March Madness. Jack, what you have to add?
I have nothing to add. Thanks, NCAA, for this shitty-ass fucking Wi-Fi. Thanks, Ryan Pace, for ruining my day and my rest of my weekend.
And your 2021 football season.
Yeah, but at least I got a David Montgomery jersey, and we're not trading him, so let's go.
Did you just get that?
I got it for Christmas, and it's fucking dope.
That's hype.
So sick. So,
bro, you're gonna have to wear it to Kinnick next year, so you can at least say you wore it while watching winning football.
No, everyone hates David Montgomery here. I don't.
What would be worse,
All right,
Jack? Hold up before we wrap up. Jack, before we wrap up, what would be worse, wearing an Iowa State jersey to Kinnick or wearing a David Montgomery jersey to Kinnick?
Alan Lazard.
No. You got to answer. Oh, you know what? That's a good answer. Because guess what? We can put a poll up on IG and we can let the fans answer that. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, Jack, you close this thing out now.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is draining. As always, guys, at the same time, same place. We will see you guys later.